Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Rangers Rabble weekly podcast. Big thanks to everybody joining us in the comments. A few coming in already. Big thanks to everybody joining us on YouTube, Twitter, everybody that follows us on social media and Facebook as well. Thank you for your support and thanks for joining us. And we're here to do what we do best. And, well, in my opinion, we do it best anyway. Let's talk about Rangers. So, Mark, how are you?
I'm all good, mate. How are yourself? You good?
I'm getting there. I'm preparing myself for April, which I'm pretty sure is going to make me unemployed and single. If it goes the way I hope it goes, but preparing myself for it.
And skint.
Skint. Care, how are you, my friend?
I'm getting there, Alan. Getting there. Everything's fine. Been on this pod a few times this week, so it's good. But sometimes maybe my face has been seen too often, but I'll enjoy it. It's good.
Not at all. Some familiar names coming up in the comments there. Jim Sloan, thanks for joining us. Cubby Cubster, evening champions, and Robert Robertson, evening lads from Barnsley. Thanks for joining us, folks. Keep your comments coming in. Keep your questions coming in. We've got a few things in the agenda we're wanting to chat about tonight. But we're going to start, as I said there, April is going to be, what a month it's going to be. So it's going to be a month where we could potentially play the other half of the Old Firm 3 times. We're definitely going to play them twice. We might play them for the 3rd time in the league towards the end of April. If not, that'll be start of May. One of them is the Scottish Cup semi-final. We should, hopefully, we'll come on to talk about this, but we should hopefully have the quarterfinals of the Europa League, as well as, I don't want to downplay this, but as well as an away trip to St Mirren as well, which could be a really vital game in the run into the league. So, Mark, this is where we want to be, isn't it? This is where Rangers want to be.
This is why we love the game, innit? This is why we love football. It's just hard going, but do you know what? You take it every day of the week when you're brilliant, absolutely brilliant. As I said, it's just one of these ones that you just gets the old juices flowing, doesn't it? You just cannot wait for this month to kick off and get in about it. Potentially, it could be season defining, or we could all be going to the Erskine Bridge. So I'm going, as I said, I've said many times before, I'm a half full type of guy, and hopefully we're going to have the best April that I've had for a long, long time.
Chair, as I said there to markets, this is where we want to be, isn't it? This is the mark of a successful Rangers team, a successful team where you're competing at the top end of 3 competitions coming into the penultimate month of the season. Is this us sort of reaping the rewards in the last 10 years or so? Is this us really starting to see us back to where we're going to be consistently?
I think you're right, Alan. I think under yourself before the Fury with the down the leagues and stuff, before that we were always in positions like this. Under Walter Smith done it a good few times. Wasn't always great at the end of the month we went through with Walter, but most of the time it was. But it's the games you look forward to. We want to win them all. Will we win them all? It's just a wait and see. But we take each game as it comes. I think they're plausible for it. This is what they play football for, isn't it? They want to be challenging for stuff. They want to be in competition. They want to be playing in Europe. So hopefully the players are excited as much as the fans are. And like I say, we take each game as it comes. But this is what you go to football for. Yeah, it's going to cost us a bit of money into Alan, but you rather go every game like this than no be involved in competitions. It's not great when you get beat, but you're a fan, you take the good and the bad. And as a Rangers fans, we've done that recently, taking a lot of bad stuff. But I think this is us coming back up to show them we are the team. We are the team for Scotland that everybody should be watching because we are the best.
Brian, welcome along. Thanks for joining us. I know you're a late addition.
No worries.
And I do appreciate you're a late addition, but we start at 7:30, mate. So next time, if you can, if you can go on, if you can make it a couple of minutes.
I should have told off, Brian.
The subboard went up a bit late. No,
Brian, we're just talking about how big a month April's going to be. This is where we want to be. This is a mark a successful team. We're competing in competitions at the top end. But we're going to come on the one that I really want. Somebody's mentioned, they're all cup finals now. They are all cup finals now. Somebody's mentioned Ian Ross. Brian's just woke up. Somebody mentioned that the squad depth is going to be vital as well, and I want to come on and talk about that. But let's chat first of all. As I said, potentially play Celtic 3 times in April, and by the way, not a friendly in sight. There's going to be absolutely nothing friendly about these 3 encounters. But the Scottish Cup semi-final, we've been drawn against Celtic. It will no doubt be the Sunday, not just because we'll be playing in Europe. Touch wood, we'll be playing in Europe on the Thursday night before it. But that's just what's going to happen, isn't it? The television's going to have us on the Sunday. So, Brian, I'll come to you. Thoughts when the draw was made?
I don't know why. I just kind of thought it was going to come out like that. 2 derbies on the semis. It is what it is. I mean, I dare say if we didn't play them in the semi and we got through, we'd play them in the final, because I don't think Hearts or Hibs would have done anything against them anyway. So, no, it's folk are saying, it's all cup finals now. It gives you vibes of probably 92, 93, 07, 08. You know, fighting on all fronts. Bring it on. Let's bring it on.
Yeah, Mark, it's were you happy with the draw? I mean, would you have preferred to play Celtic in the final, is what I'm asking.
It'd have been a nice big showcase, wouldn't it? Old Firm final, but I'm not caring. I really don't care. I'll take them anytime. Anytime we can get them, I'll take them. So we need to beat them anyway. So we need to beat them and win it. So, but it sets up even once we do beat them, it'll still be a crack of a final as well, whether it be Hearts or Hibs. So, I was over the moon with the draw.
Kerr, Hampden's not been a happy hunting ground for us for a number of years now.
Yeah.
Is this going to get the hoodoo offer back, or would you maybe have preferred to have played Hearts in the semi-final to get the hoodoo offer back? Because, by the way, I absolutely was not wanting Hibs. Because we just cannot seem to beat Hibs at Hampden. What was
1978 was the last time.
I was going to say, what was it Wolf told us in Walters Way a couple of weeks ago? 1979 was it last time we beat Hibs at Hampden?
Yeah.
Would you have maybe preferred getting Hearts in the semi-final with better opportunity to get this lump offer
No,
back?
if you're going to go to the final, I'd rather play Celtic in the semi, because I would take to beat the final, they won, and then they're winning something and you're still in the stadium. I don't like seeing that, so I'd rather get them out of the way in the semi-final, and hopefully it's Hearts in the final. I don't want to see Hibs get into the final either. So, no, you have to beat whoever you get in front of. You have to beat them, and if we're going to win something, they're probably going to have to play Celtic anyway. So it's just getting back to Hampden. Probably our best performance at Hampden over the last few years has been against Celtic, even though we get beat. It's probably been our best performance. So hopefully we can reproduce that for them, but get the result this time.
Yeah, and as you said, it's if we were to play them in the final and you get beat, that League Cup final, the end of that game, the final whistle going, I couldn't get out of the ground quick enough. It was a horrible feeling. No one we were particularly used to for a long, long time, but one that we've had to get used to. So, as I said, and as a couple of people have said in the comments, squad rotation coming up into these games, how vital is it going to be, Mark? Is this why we've been seeing Charlie McCann and Alex Lowry in and around the first team?
I think that's just natural progression for them. I think squad rotation is going to be massive. I don't know particularly if Gio's a big fan of it, to be honest with you. I mean, we've not really seen much from him. I think he's getting to the stage in the season where he's going to need to. I think it's going to be forced upon him. So the problem is that how do you tell one of our top players that, all right, you can play on a Thursday but you can't play on a Sunday? It's not going to happen, is it? I mean, you're going to be raging, aren't you? Imagine I'm saying to Morelos, well, we need to give you time off. It's not going to happen. So obviously that's going to be a test of his mettle as well. But you just hope that everybody stays fit and everybody kind of gets, if you can hopefully give somebody a wee 15 minutes or a wee 20 minutes at the end of a game, bring them off and kind of give them a wee rest in. But it's going to be vital, absolutely vital. This squad needs to be firing on all cylinders because we've got a lot of massive, massive games in a very, very short period of time.
And just looking at some of the squad as well, Brian, we saw some international call-ups being announced today. Ryan Jack back in the Scotland squad, Alfredo Morelos going away with Colombia again. We've all got our opinions on that. I'm going away and I'm not playing, but they are two of the names that I would probably like to see wrapped in cotton wool during international breaks.
Yeah.
You know, the fitness of these kinds of guys, especially people like Ryan Jack, who are capable of picking up a knock here or there. That's going to be vital, isn't it? It's going to be so important to keep these guys fit and ticking over.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, my heart sank when I seen the Morelos news. I thought, oh, here we go again. Yeah, as I said to you before, in the chat, I says, if he plays, I haven't got an issue. It was the fact that he went all that way there and twice didn't get in the squads when they were in a striker crisis. That was the thing that really annoyed me.
Yeah.
But as somebody said, if he's going to choose between his country or his club, he's going to choose his country because that's where he wants to play, you know, and it's totally understandable. But as you say, that's two guys you would be wanting to wrap up in cotton wool if it was internationals. But I mean, there was Sands played at the weekend again, and I thought he played really well. So there's another nugget in the midfield. Lowry came on, you know. So there's hopefully and thankfully there is options in the midfield if we need squad rotation.
We obviously won't know who the league fixtures are going to be immediately after the Scottish Cup semi-final. We can probably assume Celtic's going to be either game 1 or game 2 of the split because they usually are.
Yep.
You know, if we're in the quarterfinals of the Europa League, we've got the Scottish Cup semi-final, and then possibly the last Old Firm game of this league season a couple of days later, or a week later. Do you see Van Bronckhorst? Do you see Rangers sticking care with the same 11 throughout those games, or are we going to see Balogun swapped out for Helander, or will we see Barisic coming back in at left back, Arfield getting more game time, Stephen Davis coming back in, who we've not seen for a wee while, Roof maybe, as we saw at the weekend, Roof coming on and giving Morelos a bit of time off, a few minutes off the park. Is that what we're going to do, or are we going to stick with a solid 11 and just let them go at it?
I think Gio will have his favourites in the team that he relies on. He knows he can rely on. And I think it'll come down to each player individually, depending on injuries and fatigue and stuff. But I think Gio knows he's 11 who would want to play every game. And I think it'll just depend where we're sitting in the league at that point, because you don't want to prioritise a competition, but I think we might have to. I don't know if we can go for the 3. I know it's very difficult because you want to go for the 3, but depending on circumstances at the club, you might have to prioritise 1 or 2. It'd be very, very difficult because, like I said earlier, you have to take every game as it comes. But for Ryan Jack, Ryan Jack to me is just coming back through his period of getting back to fitness and getting picked for Scotland. To me was, I don't know why Scotland done it, to be fair. It's only 2 friendlies. They can let him out. I mean, he doesn't need to be playing for Scotland, does he? He can play with Rangers, but you see how we've rested him at times, then brought him back in. So I know he wants to play with his country, and that's great. But he got injured there the last time, so don't want to get away with Scotland and get injured again, because that could set him back. Morelos doesn't bother me getting away, because I think the time scale is good. He's going to come back and do okay anyway. I mean, you still get James Sands got away with USA, I think, as well at that point. So that's another.
Has that been announced? I never saw that the day, but was that announced as well? That Sands
I'm not sure. I just heard. I seen on Twitter earlier on somebody said they could be away there. I'm not sure if the squad has been announced, but I know CGM just said the league is a priority. To me, the league is a priority. But if you're sitting in the quarters of the cup, the Europa League, and your semi-final is Scottish, and you've got a league, do you prioritise it, or do you just go for the 3? Because it'd be quite difficult, isn't it? Because you don't know what one to go for. And if players are maybe can injury, you might leave them out certain games. But so the manager, I don't know. It's going to come down to Gio's decisions. It's going to be very difficult for him, because it's a choice I wouldn't like to make. But I think whatever happens, he'll stick to the players he knows best, or the players he thinks he can trust the best. And I think we've seen that recently when we make not a lot of changes throughout some games. He sticks with a certain 11. And does he make a sub, even though everybody is shouting, take to make a sub, but he'll maybe play somebody. Like Rebo looked shattered all week, but he kept on for another 15, 20 minutes, probably more than he should have. But it's the players he doesn't want to take off the park, because he feels like they can maybe give him more than other players.
Yeah, and I suppose for the upside of the international break is it'll give a lot of players a rest as well. Yes, we know Morelos is going, Jack's going, we think Sands will be going. I don't know if the African teams have got fixtures in this round of international break, so there might be another couple going. But it'll give people a chance for a rest, maybe a chance to get on the training pitch as well and get some minutes training. Aaron Ramsey. But we'll come to him as well because I want to talk about the Dundee Cup game and the Dundee League game in a few days' time as well. So we'll talk about Aaron Ramsey there. But as I say, the international call-ups, I think you're right. I don't think Ryan Jack needed to be in that Scotland squad for a couple of friendlies. I don't think he's still in the recovery phase. I think he's now at the phase where he's going to be as fit as he's going to be, as he's ever going to be.
Nigeria's got a game on the 25th of March and the 29th. So
Nigeria are playing. So Joe Aribo's going to be away, possibly one or two others. So yeah, it's. Do you know what though? This is the price of being successful, Brian, isn't it? This is the price of having being successful. Your players get called up to international duty.
Yeah, it's part and parcel. I'm afraid it's something. I think it's just different because we haven't had it for such a long time, and we've been so used to players not being away because obviously of the last few seasons. So yeah, I'm afraid it's a heavy price to pay, but it also says that they're doing well. So it's nice to see players getting international recognition at the same time. Can't have it both ways.
No, you can't. As I say, it's the price of success, as is being in the latter stages of these competitions and having exciting periods of time like April and hopefully May is going to be for us. We spoke about the Dundee game there. Going to go and talk about the Dundee game that we just played, the Dundee game in a couple of days before we go and really talk about the European situation. So, Mark, I don't want to spend too long talking about the Scottish Cup game at the weekend because the guy's done the post-match reaction on that. But we saw some squad rotation there. Do you think there's going to be any squad rotation this Sunday? Are we going to stick with the same squad, or will McGregor start again? Will Ramsey maybe drop back to the bench, for example?
I think that McGregor will be back. I think he's had his rest. I really do. I think that McLaughlin never put a foot wrong. I mean, they never really had much to do, to be fair, but I never put a foot wrong. But I think that Ramsey playing that kind of half-field role was very good, and I think that if he's fit enough, for me, he starts. I think he's too good a player not to start. So I think that he's going to, if he can play, I think he'll kick on. Well, I hope he'll kick on. As I say, it's one of them. Obviously, the boys were talking a little bit. People had gotten well, but as I said, you've got to play him. He's here to play, and if he's fit enough to play, I think you've got to play him. I think that you could see against Dundee how good a player he was, how intelligent he was as well. I mean, some of his touches and stuff like that, and you can just tell he's a step, 2 steps ahead of everybody else to park. Obviously, you can tell he's a wee bit rusty, a wee bit kind of needs game time, and he needs to play. But I think that rotation wise, I think he's done as much rotation as he thought he was ever going to do. So I think that you're going to play a pretty strong team against them, as well as Thursday night as well. I don't think there'll be much rotation.
Yeah, sorry, Mark. Brian obviously just clearly had a cat walk across his computer screen there.
I just thought it was growing more hair.
There's no chance of that.
To be fair, he could be doing with it.
That could be, yeah.
His toupee fell off.
Brian, a couple of people mentioning Aaron Ramsey in the comments now, as Mark just mentioned them there. I wasn't surprised he started, but I was surprised he played so well. Not because I know he's not a good player, but I don't know the last time Aaron Ramsey would have played on a coup field. But were you impressed with his performance on Sunday? Sorry.
Yeah. As Mark says, it's like riding a bike. You never forget. He's a quality player. Juventus don't sign you for nothing if they don't think you're any good. But unfortunately, and injuries have played a part in that. And but he his little touches, his little runs, he'll help other guys on the pitch. He'll encourage them, and he does that with Wales, because obviously when he plays with Wales, when he was either at Arsenal or Juventus, obviously he would play in the Welsh national team, and obviously a lot of the Welsh team play in the Championship or lower Premiership. So he's obviously got to play with guys of, well, lesser caliber, basically. And he's obviously a good motivator and a good encourager. So with guys like that in the team, that can only help.
Yeah, and Kerr, would you expect him to keep his place on Thursday night or even Sunday?
I wouldn't play him on Thursday night. I think it's going to be quite an aggressive game against Leicester, and I don't think he'll start. I don't think Gio will start him. And I'll play him on Sunday again. I'm just hoping. I've seen somebody mention in the comments about maybe him playing for Wales. So I just hope if he goes to the Wales squad as well, he doesn't get injured either, because we don't really want to see that. But I thought on Sunday he has got quality. You can see he's got quality. He's not a bad player at all. You know that yourself, Alan. And Ramsey, if he can get even 90% fit Ramsey, even probably 70% fit Ramsey, will improve Rangers, because it's his reading in the game, his positional sense is so good in the park. And I think he'll play next Sunday against Dundee, but Thursday I would have him in the squad, obviously, but I wouldn't start him, because I think it will be an aggressive game. They're going to come out firing at us, and I think I want to keep him fit, because I think it can be a big difference come April.
Well, that was my next question, Iker. Is he going to be the difference?
I think he can be. I think he's got a quality, and he's always turned up on big occasions. I remember him doing it for Arsenal many times. Sometimes you thought he's not been in the game, and next minute he would score a goal or two, and you think that's Aaron Ramsey. Just his late runs into the box is just get on the end of things. Do you know what I mean? His finishing is so good. I know he missed a couple against Dundee after me saying that, but his finishing is so good, and that's what probably attracted Juventus to him. Just his goals to midfield ratio. But no, I think if you can get him anywhere near fitness, he has to start. And somebody else in the comments said the comments are actually quite good tonight. Somebody else said that you play a rebound
Compared to usual.
compared to me. I like rebound wide right, I have to say. And if he played wide right, then you could play Ramsey in there.
Folks, just on the comments, I forgot this at the start, and I wanted to ask you, I need some help. I need some serious help this week. If anybody has got any tips for Cheltenham, stick them in the comments and let me know. Because I had an absolute disaster last year at Cheltenham. I can't afford to have that again. Mark, I think you've had a couple of bets. JD was in the group chat today bragging about his wins today.
No, I broke even. I didn't
Kerr's broke even. I need some help, folks. So if anybody's got any tips for Cheltenham at all, get them in the comments. Let me know, because I'm desperate. I'll be
seven horses, 3 winners, but I broke even.
Well, it's better than I've done. But yeah, if you've got anything, and if you've got any questions for the guys that are on tonight, please get them in, and keep your comments coming in. And big thank you again for your support to the Rangers Rabble. Sticking with the Dundee game that we've just played. Alan always go with the donkey. Cheers, Paul. That's helpful. Johnny D, gambling's a mugs game. You're absolutely right, Johnny. It is a mugs game. I am a mug. No, if you do enjoy a bet, just remember and enjoy it responsibly. Yeah, look after yourself. Don't gamble what you can't afford. Enjoy a wee bet responsibly. Yeah, sticking with the sort of lineup, even the subs bench, Mark. We saw Alex Lowry, we saw Charlie McCann. Do you expect to see them involved in the squad this week or in the coming weeks into this big run-in? We've got this big run of games.
I hope so. I mean, especially Lowry. I think Lowry does not look out of place. It looks as if he's been a squad player or playing with us for the last couple of years. He's definitely the young boy stepped up to the mark. I've been very, very impressed. Well, I think his enthusiasm is like almost like a breath of fresh air. I just think he's got hundreds of talent, and I think you need to nurture that. I think you need to play him to get the best out of him. And as I said, I don't think he's out of place at all. I think the bench was pretty good as well. I mean, when I seen the team sheet, I kind of went, oh, I don't know. I thought it would have been a wee bit defensive or a bit too defensive. I thought to myself, where's the creativity coming from? But it seemed to work. We all played well, and I think what bodes as well is there's a lot of the boys that were playing that done really well, that kind of were in the fringes and never done themselves any harm. But I think that we're in a good place going into this really, really busy period with hundreds of massive games. I think squad-wise we're in probably a better place than we thought we were.
Yeah, and you know that's funny, Brian, because I thought the same as Mark, especially after Sunday. I thought we're in a better place squad wise. We've got a little bit of depth now in certain positions. We've got a couple of young players that we can rely on. You know, they might not make the starting 11, but if they need to come off the bench, we can trust them. It's quite a contrast to the start of the season where we were all bragging about how good a squad we had, and we had 2 or 3 players in different positions. And you know, it's strange that whilst we've not really done much transfer business to change that position for the start of the season, that we're thinking that now.
Aye, I mean, we've always known about sort of Lowry, and then obviously I think did McCann come in this summer?
Yeah.
Can't remember. Yeah, so
I mean,
I mean, it's funny that we've as you say, we went from feeling a bit lightweight in certain positions to suddenly being over flooded in there. But it's it's nice that, as you say, we can rely on the young guns now. But I think the key is to get up a couple of goals early and maybe get a third, and then you can start the squad rotations. You know, don't wait, or you know, we're 0-0 or 1-0 up. You know, get up early quick, and then give the guys a bit of confidence to go on and do squad rotations once you're a couple of goals, 3 goals up.
Brian, that ringtone, how old is your phone?
I know. At least I know it's mine then.
It's one of those BT Cellnet ones.
I'm in the house, Heather.
Fucking hell.
I know it's mine then, you see.
Kerr, we'll skip we'll come to the Thursday night game, as I said. We'll come to the European tie and the European adventure. But for Sunday, does the team pick itself, or do you stick with the same 11? Do you make changes? Can that same 11 get the job done again?
For Sunday against Dundee, I think they should, because I don't think Dundee can get any better than what they are. I think Dundee's in free fall, to be honest with you, and I don't think they can play any better. The only way we can trouble up ourselves up there if we go and don't play well, because I think they're going down, Dundee, and I think if we played the same team or 1 or 2 changes, we should still win that game. If we can't beat Dundee, then let's just say we're not going to win the league, put it that way. But no, I think after a hard game on Thursday night, he might make 1 or 2 changes because it is Dundee, but you have to respect them a wee bit. I know I'm just disrespect them, but the players will have to respect them because they're professionals. But I think we should still go up there and win comfortably.
There you are, Davey sitting on the head, knock you a brick, Tone.
He still plays sick.
Good memories when you dropped your phone, it was perfectly okay.
No, you drop your phone and you get the fear.
Aye.
Folks, as I said at the top of the show, big thank you for joining us on the Rangers Rabble Weekly podcast. Remember, please hit the wee subscribe button on YouTube. You can still join as a member on YouTube. I think it's $1.99. You get access to some content from us. Like us on Twitter, share us on Facebook, whatever way around it is, I can't remember. But yeah, wherever you get your social media, have a search for the Rangers Rabble. Your support, we wouldn't be here without your support, and we can't thank you enough for it. We love talking about Rangers, you love talking about Rangers, and I love the fact that we can all get together and have a chat. We don't always agree with each other, because that would be boring. That would make a really boring podcast. It would make a really boring conversation. But I love the fact we can all get together and talk about Rangers. So keep your questions and your comments coming in. Anything you've got for the guys, anything Rangers related, even if it's not Rangers related, let's get questions in and embarrass the guys with how little they know about stuff. So anything you've got, keep them coming in. A couple of other bits of news just coming out of Rangers this week, or Rangers related this week. It came out today that the squad, the first team and the first team management are donating, I think it's over £70,000 to assist with the in Ukraine. I don't know, it's going through the Rangers Charity Foundation and UNICEF. I don't know exactly what that money is going to be doing, but it's going to be assisting people in Ukraine. So thank you to the club for that. Something that's in the news and we'll see and read every day. And hopefully this conflict will be over sooner rather than later. Rangers have appointed a new, forgive me because I can't remember the exact job title, but a new disability officer. I say new because, Mark, it's not really a new position. It's something we've had before. But do you think this is a bit of a damage control by Rangers, making such a big deal of it?
I think it's about time that they made a big deal of it, to be perfectly honest with you. And in my ignorance, it's something I never really thought about until fairly recently. But when you look at it and see, because it's in my mind's eye, and now you're sitting in the stand and you have a look at what they're sitting in, and it's unbelievable. It's terrible. And I mean, see, if it was us that were sitting there, you'd be raging. You'd be absolutely raging, getting soaked. But I tell you what, fair play to these guys, because they turn up, rain, hail or shine, and they're sitting there supporting Rangers, and more power to them. But I think something is well overdue getting done with that. As I said, I don't know how you fix it, but I like the fact that it's highlighted now, and I think that they should be getting their finger out and doing something to help these guys. I think it's a bit of a disgrace.
Yeah, absolutely. Jim, the old ones are the best. The old ones are the best. 10 hour, 12-1. Absolutely. I agree with you, Mark, and I'm the same. It's not something that was at the forefront of my mind until quite probably the last year or so. Really, it was when I became part of the Rangers rabble, and it was something that we've always discussed. That I started to think about it, and it was at the forefront of my mind. But yeah, people deserve better. It's the 21st century, and hopefully we can see improvements in the facilities for the disabled supporters at Ibrox. And it's little things sometimes. I was watching, it was the Red Star game last week. I'm in the Copeland rear, and I was watching the stewards in the East Enclosure, and I don't know if you noticed what the stewards were doing, but they were 1 minute they were there, the next minute they were away. There's a row of stewards in the East Enclosure standing in front of the disabled supporters, and eventually somebody saw sense and got them to kneel. That was like, this is how football supporters in general are being treated in the 21st century. So yeah, Rangers need to do more about it. Scottish football probably needs to do more about it, and I hope that that Rangers can lead the way, as we have done with so many other things in the past.
I think also, Alan, sorry, it's about
Yep.
people with disabilities. I mean, you can maybe struggle to climb stairs and stuff like that. So maybe putting a lift in each stand that's got area, and maybe Copeland, stuff like that, because people can't climb upstairs at times, or maybe just better facilities getting in and out. If you do, because being disabled doesn't mean you're always in a wheelchair. It can be any kind of disability. So I think it's good to know it. They've got somebody in place, because as a lot of Rangers fans out here who maybe want to go to games but just can't because they think I might struggle to get in and out of Ibrox, or I might struggle to walk up some stairs. So if they can do stuff to help these people, it's good, because I mean, I've got disabilities myself, so I know how hard it can be sometimes to get about. So it's good to have something like that in place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the fan media outlets, all the fan media outlets deserve a pat on the back, because they've played their role in highlighting this to the club. Even on the Rangers Rabble, Wilf had an interview a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember exactly when it was. Sorry, but if you go back our YouTube pages or YouTube posts, you'll find it. But so many other Rangers media outlets have spoke about this and brought this to the forefront of the supporters' minds. I know there was a banner at Ibrox last week as well. It had another meaning behind it, but it highlighted the issue again. So everybody really deserves a pat on the back that we've pulled together as a support to highlight this issue, and Rangers seem keen to do something about it. So absolutely. And Brian, one other piece of news coming out of the club, or coming out of Rangers related stuff today that I noticed, was that a certain Mr. Alfredo Morelos has switched agents. I did notice one football news website tell us that he's switched agents and he's been immediately linked with Newcastle United. That's probably a load of crap. But the fact is he has switched agents. Is that something we need to be worried about?
I mean, the Morelos, we all know he's good enough down for the Premiership. It's just, to be honest, it's just a matter of fact of when he goes rather than if. I mean, regardless if he's got a certain agent or not, agents are always trying to get the best sort of deals for their players. So, no, I mean, any agent's exactly the same as another one for me. They're all trying to get the best for their own players, and if they can get a chance of a move, they're going to move them, aren't they, or help them?
Care, I have wondered in the past. There's always been rumours of Morelos going. Every transfer window, there's rumours of Morelos going, but there never seems to be anything concrete coming. I forget the French team that went in from a cup last pre-season. Lille were in from. Other than that, there's not been anything concrete. Do you think Morelos has maybe got to the stage where he's went, do you know what, I want there to be something concrete and I want there to be options out there for me, so he's went and found somebody to do that job for him?
He might have, Alan. Every player wants to play at a higher level, don't they? And the goals he's scoring in the Europa League and European football, it'll interest people because they might not watch Scottish football, but they watch them in Europe and they've seen this guy scoring goals in Europe, and he's a player that would interest a lot of teams, especially in England, because he's aggressive, he's strong, and I think he would do well down in England. I know I might be biased when I say that, but I think he really would, especially some of the players they bought down there for mega bucks and they don't really do that great. But you know yourself, Morelos is a really good striker, and he's matured over the last few seasons. His all-round plays get a lot better, so I think he can make us a lot of money. But that's probably one of the reasons. Maybe doesn't like his agent. Maybe think his agent's not doing enough for him, and he has went to somebody else. Maybe he can get him moved to a bigger club. But if he does move, then I hope he does well. But first and foremost, I hope he get a good amount of money for him. I'd like to see him stay at Rangers, but I know that's not going to be an option because players always want to go and play at a higher level, financial reasons as well, right? You know?
See if you think your agent's doing a good job for you, you're going to keep him, aren't you?
Yeah,
simple as that. He's not changed him because he thinks this boy's doing a great job for me. He's well like that. This boy's not doing it, and we all know he wants to go. He doesn't want to go. He wants to play in the Premiership. So this who I don't even know who it is. It's his agent, as I said, but whoever it is has obviously they've had talks prior to him becoming his new agent. And 100% sure the talk's been, can you get me to the Premiership? So I think Alfie, I think he'll be a superstar, doesn't he? I really do. But he doesn't always anything. Do you know what I mean? He's been outstanding for us, and he's going to make us an awful lot of money. So you can't blame the boy. I mean, obviously that move that he's been not looking for as such, but he's wanted, has not materialised for him. And I think this is the reason why he's got a new agent. It's as simple as that. I mean, sometimes there's no smoke without fire. And obviously this new agent, there's got to have been talks prior to him becoming his new agent, and there's got to have been said, this is exactly what they've been talking about. He's obviously come in and said, I'll get you a move. I'll get you the move that you want. So, as I said, that's to me, I'm worried because I think this is probably the maybe the move in the summer, depending on how we get on. But I think that you maybe see him away in the summer. And as I said, the wee man doesn't know anything.
No, he doesn't. He never came into Rangers as a Rangers supporter. He never made any secret of the fact that he wants to play in the English Premier League. He's obviously had those discussions with the management team, whether it be this management team or the previous one, because I remember an interview with Steven Gerrard after the Europa League game. I think it was last season. He was asked about Morelos looking happy about scoring goals in this competition, and Gerrard answered, says of course he does, because he knows who watches these games. So he's obviously always trying to impress people. And Robert Robertson said that they're just enjoy it whilst we've got him. And we're probably the world's worst as supporters. We don't want to lose our best players, so we worry about the day we are going to lose them instead of just enjoying it. So you're absolutely right, Robert. Let's just enjoy him whilst we've got him, and hopefully when he does go, it is for mega bucks, and he goes on to be an absolute superstar, whether it be in England or any other of the top leagues.
But, we all thought the world was going to cave in when Gascoigne and Laudrup left.
Exactly. Exactly.
Let's
just enjoy him whilst we've got him and hope that he makes his mega bucks and he goes on and becomes, one of the all-time greats. And I really do. I know that he's never played for Colombia the last time he went. He's been called up again. I really do hope he makes it into Colombia. I don't know what the situation is. They make it into the World Cup, and that he goes to the World Cup and absolutely smashes it. Because it's only going to be good for him, and it'll only be good for Rangers as well. And I'm sure, wherever he goes in football, people will ask him about his time at Rangers, and he'll tell stories about running around Ammonvale with his top off, dancing to Sweet Caroline and things like that. So, yeah, good luck to him. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that develops over the course of the summer transfer window, as it probably will with quite a few other players. And yeah, Lee Henderson, mad to think Pedro Caixinha bought him in. Yeah. It's, Jonathan Johansson had a massive part to play in it, but Pedro was the manager that signed him. So he did do something good for us, a bit like Paul Le Guen bringing in Sasa Papic. It was probably the best thing he'd done for us. But yeah. So, right, okay, moving on. So Thursday night, we play the second leg of the Europa League Last 16 tie. Mark, 3-0 up. It's half time. We're up 3-0. Do you fancy us to go through?
I think it's going to be a proper hard tie. I think it's probably going to be harder than a lot of us think. I think that they've got goals in them. I think we've seen that for the first leg. They've got goals in them. They're a right good side. And I think we'll concede goals. So I think that they'll need to come at us, and I think we will. We've got a potential to sneak a wee goal here and there. But I think if we score, I think we're through. So, as I said, it's going to be a hard game because they're going to fling the kitchen sink and everything at us. Because they've nothing to lose at the end of the day. So, I think they're going to come at us, and it's just if we can weather the storm and maybe sneak one. But I think they'll score 1 or 2 against us. I definitely do. I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people think.
Brian, will that play in our favour? The fact that they need to come at us, will we be able to? Are we ever the type of team that can sit back and soak up that pressure and then catch people on the break?
Well,
sounds easy, doesn't it? Sounds dead easy.
Sounds very easy, exactly. Past few games history is not going to suggest that. So, no, I think I do think we'll advance into the quarterfinals. How we get there, how we navigate that, I have no idea. But I am confident we'll get through into the quarterfinals. As I say, how we get there, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a cop out to say we could lose the game quite heavily.
It is an absolute cop out. But we'll let you off with it since you never had much time to prepare and you were late. Keir, it's simple, isn't it? We need to score over there just to finish this off.
I think we will score. I think they'll score as well. But European away games don't bother me as much as European home games. I don't know why. I don't mind us playing away from home. I think we're suited to playing away. So I'm not that worried about Thursday night. I think they will score, but I think we will as well. And I think 3-0 is enough to get through. I could pick up back here on Thursday night after on the reaction, saying I was wrong, but no, I think we'll go through.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident we're going to go through as well. But I agree with everybody. And as Mark says, I think it's going to be a really, really tight second leg. I wouldn't be surprised if they got an early goal. I think they're going to come at us. They have to come at us if they want to get anything out of this. And it's going to be hostile as well, isn't it, over there, Mark? You would imagine it to be.
Oh, it's going to be mental, isn't it? I mean, we know it's going to be mental, but I think it's the old saying: if Carlsberg done second ties, I think if we sneak an early goal, they're in trouble big time. I think they might fall apart if we score an early goal, but it's going to be a proper cauldron, and I think it's going to be a great experience for our team because I don't think they'll have experienced anything like that before. So you just hope that they stand up to it. They're used to playing in front of big crowds, but I don't know if it's used to playing in front of such a hostile crowd. So
it's only half a stadium full, but
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh well, but even half a stadium, they're going to be proper hostile. But as I said, it's you just hope that they stand up. But I'm confident we'll go through. But I think it's going to be one of those ones where I'll be watching the second half from behind the sofa.
Even if we're 3-0 up.
It won't be that bad, surely.
I think it'll be tight. I think we'll go through. I think if we score, we're through. Simple as that. If we score, we're through. But
I think they will score, so I think we'll go through.
I think they'll score as well. I think they'll score maybe 2. I think they'll score definitely because they're a right good side. But as I said, I think it's going to be the Rangers never do it easy. I mean, let's face it. We've been here many times before, haven't we? And It's never the we'll go out and we'll take we'll beat them 2-0 over there. That's never going to happen. I don't know. I'm going to be watching it from behind the sofa.
You know, Brian, it's funny because before the first leg, if you'd say to me, "There's 3-0," I'd bite your hand off and came back for your wrist. But after we won 3-0, I was sitting on the bus coming home going, I wish we'd got that fourth goal. I'd be feeling a lot better. If we'd got the fourth goal, I'd probably say, I wish we got that fifth goal. I'd be feeling a lot better. Is it as simple as? Do you think it's as simple as? I certainly hope it is. We score, we go through.
I would like to think so. I mean, it's as somebody said in the comments just not long ago. It's such a spear that the away goals rules went, because if we went out there and scored, that would be the tie over basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But of course, there's no away goals, so we've just got to try and score. As Scott said, if we score one, I think that'll be enough. I can't see us conceding 4. I'd like to think that if we scored over there, we're through. But I mean, the guys are the players are going to enjoy the atmosphere. Obviously, that famous tunnel that you have to walk about a quarter of a mile to get from the changing room to the pitch. So it's going to be an experience for them. But as they've played at Dortmund, they've played at other places bigger. So I would say as long as they score, we'll go through.
Yeah, and to all the Bears that are travelling over, have an absolute fantastic time. Look after each other, look after yourselves. I know people are going all over Europe and then making their way to Belgrade. I know people that are staying in Budapest and getting the bus from Budapest to Belgrade and straight back after the game. However you're going, have an absolute smash of that. I'm absolutely, my supporters club, we've got a wee European away chat, and I know that tomorrow morning the people that are going to be on that chat constantly, and I'm going to want to smash my phone and then go and get one of Brian's Nokias. But I'm jealousy and envy is going to be ripping out me tomorrow morning, but I'm not going to be there. You are. Have an absolute amazing time, folks. So that time of the pod, we're going to talk about and then disagree about the starting 11. But before I do that, I want everybody in the comments about. I want to hear your predictions. First goal scorer and scoreline in Belgrade. So, Kerr, starting lineup. Let's start with the goalkeeper in the back 4.
I'm going to back 5.
You're going to back 5 from the start?
I think he'll play a 3, but obviously defend. I think he will, because he'll keep it tight. Because I think in the first game, they played a couple of balls through the 2 centre-backs. So I think if he sticks Lundstram in there, that doesn't happen. So I think that's Gio will go safe, because they switched it like in the first leg, didn't he? They were troubling us and they pulled Lundstram back. So I think it'll go a 3-5 when you're defending, but 3 when you're attacking. I think it'll go that way. But the goalkeeper's going to be McGregor. It has to be McGregor.
And who's on the left and the right for you?
Well, Bassey and Tav. Maybe Balogun, Lundstram and Golson.
Mark, is Bassey the left back between now and the end of the season, unless he has an absolute howler? Is Barisic's place on the bench?
Yeah, I think he's Big Bassey's, Big Shirley's made that his own. That's his position. It's his to lose. I feel sorry for Barisic, because I think Barisic's a smashing player. I mean, it was only bloody 6 months ago we were talking about him being one of the best left backs in Europe. Mm-hmm. His crossing ability is fantastic. His confidence is just blown to pieces, isn't it? It's just somebody give him a cuddle. It's just, but yeah, Big Bassey every day of the week. He's my left back now, and it's his to lose, so, as far as I'm concerned.
Borna's not comfortable in a 5. Because he likes somebody in front of him. If there's somebody in front of him, he's fine. But if he has to patrol that line himself, he struggles. Whereas Calvin, we know he's still a raw at times and he can have jitters, but he's a confident lad. He's aggressive and he's a big boy, isn't he? So he's not scared either. No,
I like his aggression. I think that his aggression has probably endeared him to the Rangers fans, because that kind of, it's almost like a marauding up that wing, innit? He's just a big massive unit, and I'd hate to have to try and mark him. He's just going right over the top, you wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't fancy that at all.
but that's brilliant, because as I say, that he's got that, and the boy The boy can play. He's just not a big. He's just not a big unit. The boy's got cracking feet as well for his size. He's got brilliant feet, and his crossing's getting better. So
it's getting better. It still needs work on, but it's getting better.
100%. But I can see him seeing another season and a half, 2 seasons time. I can see him going for massive money, absolutely massive money. Because if he keeps progressing the way he's done in this season, the progression that the boy's made. I mean, this is his first full season as a first team professional footballer.
Yeah, he came from Leicester in the 23s, didn't he? So he's not really played a lot of first team football.
Absolutely. So if he can progress at the same kind of speed as he's progressing at the moment, then it just that could be frightening. As I said, he's got everything, absolutely everything. So as I said, just his final balls probably what's letting him down, and a wee bit more positional sense as well. But he's still a young boy, and that'll all come. So just as I said, it's his position to lose, and I can just see him going from strength to strength. He loves it here. You can tell he loves it. You can tell he loves playing at Ibrox. So as I said, it's strength to strength as far as I'm concerned.
He's quickly becoming one of the first names on my team selections. And I think the same. I think he's made that position his own, certainly between now and the end of the season. Sean, we're going to come back and answer that question in a wee minute because I want to know people's opinions. But Brian, sticking with going into the midfield starting lineup, who's your midfield three?
Jack, Kamara, and either Lundstram or Sands. And either Lundstram or Strands will play the sweeping low role, call it what you like, that we did against Borussia Dortmund. Was it Dortmund that changed the Swiss system?
Yeah.
So, I would fancy that sort of lineup, I would say. It just depends who he fancies in the sweeper role, whether it be Lundstram or Sands.
Kamara played a bit further forward in the home leg. Can you see him playing there again in the second leg? It obviously worked.
It worked, yeah. I mean, Glenn's actually helped his game because before that he was always safe, wasn't he? Always wanted to play safe first, but you always knew he had that in him to go for because he had that wee bust he'd done a few times. He would maybe go left or right and he'd bust forward and get the ball in, but he's playing further forward and he is technically really good, Glenn Kamara. So I think he will go forward, but I think he'll be told to sit more because he gets about the park really well. Glenn Kamara is a good athlete, so I think having him and Jack there, I think Sands will play as well. I think we'll go quite defensive. I don't think we'll go out and attack them. I think they know they'll come to us, but we know with players like Morelos, Aribo and Kent, we can hit them in the break. Even Tav and Bassey getting up the wings, we can hit them in the break, and I think they'll be scared of that because they didn't look too clever defensively.
And Kerv, what about the forward positions? Kent, Morelos, and
Aribo.
Kent, Morelos, and Aribo. Does anybody think anybody else other than Aribo for this game?
It just depends if he's wanting to go for speed or if he's wanting to go for somebody like Aribo to hold up the ball. If he's wanting to go for speed, then he's probably going to go with somebody like Sakala. But if he's wanting somebody to play maybe in the hole behind the striker, it's probably going to be Aribo.
Yeah, I would imagine Aribo as well. I always think Sakala for the speed in these games, maybe if we're going to try and catch them on the break. But I think the important thing is maybe to try and hold the ball up with Aribo and let Kent and Morelos try and get forward. Excuse me. Right, so somebody, who was it? Was it Sean? Was in the comments and asked the question. I'm not going to ask the question in those words because I'm fearing in case I jinx it. But, and this is open to the threes, I want to hear your opinions. Can we dream?
We can always dream, Alan.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't see why not. Anytime you see anybody in a good run in a European competition, there's always a wee bit of luck. And you know what? The luck's been with us in Europe, big time. Just things that went our way. Just almost every step of the way, we've had something that's went our way. VAR has been the best pal we've ever had. Obviously, getting it right. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we're getting something
too loud, Mark. Come on.
as I said, we're not getting anything that we're not due. But I mean, there's the last two legs we've had penalties that none of us have really clocked.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And so, do you know what? See that wee bit of luck and the desire and hunger that we've shown. I don't really fear anybody in Europe. I really don't. I think that when you get to this stage, if we qualify on Thursday and go through, I don't think anybody will fancy coming to Ibrox. I really don't. I really, really don't. And it's just that you've got to you were obviously talking earlier about do we prioritise one and stuff like that. I think you just need to take every single game as it comes. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but I think that's what you need to do. And just keep chipping away, and keep chipping away. The old cliche again is then your next game is your biggest. And I don't think that you can look that far ahead. So I don't see why no. We can't dream it. And if it gets to the stage where we go like that, is the league our priority? Or is it Europe your priority? Because you're not going to get a European final. I mean, I thought in 2008 it was the last time I'd see it in my lifetime. I don't know what you guys felt, but as I said, for me, that was the last time. And I get proper emotional about it. I was just like, it just blew my mind. I just couldn't believe it. So if it can happen then, and I tell you what, we're playing better football than we did then. Then it was just all desire and hunger. But I don't see why not. I really don't.
You know, I see a lot of people commenting on in the comments, funnily enough, comparing it to 2008. I don't like comparing it to 2008 because it's a completely different situation. It's, not taking away anything that happened that season because it was an incredible season. But the format of the competition now, the standard of teams in the latter stages of the Europa League, we're seeing teams like Barcelona there. We saw some wee German team, Dortmund or something. We saw them there. They fancy themselves big tickets as well. So the standard of the team. I know 2008 Bayern Munich got to the semi-finals as well. But the standards it's a step up, and that's why they redesigned the competition as well. There's a couple of teams in there. If we get through, there's a couple of teams in there that I wouldn't mind avoiding in the Europa League in the quarterfinals if we will get through. If we got them, but I wouldn't mind avoiding them. Is the luck of the draw important to us here? If we do go through, I keep saying if because we've still got Thursday night to navigate, but there's a couple of teams in there that we really, really going to fancy if we can get them. And if there's an upset somewhere else and your teams like the favourites like Sevilla and Barcelona get knocked out, anything can happen.
It can. To be honest with you, I don't mind the draw because we've had Dortmund, who I didn't think we would get past. I must have sitting here, and then make it Red Star, who hopefully make it through on Thursday. And I can go through the two teams. I wouldn't bother anybody. Whoever we get, we get. I think they'll be worried about playing Rangers because they've known how good they've been this season, and you can only take the team you get drawn against. I know a couple of people put West Ham, avoid Barcelona, West Ham, but why avoid them? Just play them. Because if you can beat Dortmund and the players back in mind, you can only beat anybody because Dortmund's a top-notch team. I know a lot of people say I know the team they were, but it's still Borussia Dortmund. They still spent over 300 million, whatever. They're still a good side. So, and we showed them how to play football over the two legs. I just hope we do the same on Thursday. And like I say, I just hope it doesn't come back like it done in 2008 and haunt us and Celtic have another tour to Japan. That was the only thing that could kibosh it. Do you know what I mean? So I just hope that doesn't happen. But no, it'll be hard because we weren't helped the last time by certain things in Scottish football. So I just hope if it happened this time, and pray to God it does, but we would get help some way because we didn't get any help with other leagues in the world or in Europe help their teams within European finals. We get none whatsoever. So I agree with Mark. Just take a game at a time, but you can never say never.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm agreeing with some of the comments here. CGM, I'm actually agreeing with CGM. Seville we want to avoid. I would agree with that, I think, at this stage of the tournament. Yeah. West Ham will likely be out, as will several big teams. And that's what I'm saying, Brian. I think, if there is an upset somewhere like Galatasaray put Barcelona out, as they're in a strong position to do. It's only going to benefit Rangers, and we won't be the only team in that position. There'll be other teams in that position. Right, Frankfurt, for example, who'll be looking at this going, you know, if there's a wee upset there and a wee upset here, and we get a good draw, anything can happen.
I mean, when you're looking at the draw there, there's probably 3 seriously big teams in there with Lyon, Barcelona, and Seville. I mean, Seville are serial winners of this competition in the last few years. They've won it 5 out of the last 4 or something. Well, maybe not
5 out of the last 4.
You know, 4 out of the last 5. Sorry. 4 out of the last 5. It's a stupid stat. They won it 3 years in a row as well, didn't they? So
They did, aye.
You're right, that is a stupid start.
Oh, didn't it? But I mean, that's the sort of 3 teams you really want to give a bye in the quarterfinal to and not meet is Lyon, Seville, and Barcelona for me.
Yeah. Guys, we're going to wrap it up there. That's us just over an hour now. I don't want to keep people too late. But before I go, predictions for Thursday night, Mark?
As much as I hate to say it, I think 2-1 Red Star and we'll go through.
Brian?
2-1 Red Star.
And Kerr?
2 each, to have penalty.
I'm going to go 1 each. And the regular viewers will know who my goal scorer is. I'm going to get it right eventually. I'm going to get it right eventually. I'm not going to say the name, but the regulars will know exactly who my goal scorer is. But 1 each. And Rangers go through comfortably. And we go into the draw's on Friday, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
We go into the draw on Friday. And we all get another really exciting moment as Rangers supporters this season. It seems like the last couple of seasons have just been absolutely mental, isn't it?
Where's the bucket list? Where's the bucket list in the next? Well, where would the bucket list be in the next round?
Oh, I really don't know. I would go anywhere at this point. I'd go anywhere at this point. Hopefully, no too far east, somewhere central. Listen, I've not told my missus I'm planning on going to the quarterfinals, and she's going to watch this later. So,
passport will be getting hid.
we're going to go before anybody gets me in some serious bother. Folks, once again, I'd like to thank you for joining us at our weekly podcast. We are back. We'll be back on Thursday with the match reaction. Just, a thank you again for your support. It really is appreciated. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, find us on Twitter, find us on Facebook. And I'm sure that we will have a really good week this week. 2 big wins and then a wee break before the madness starts in April. Folks, enjoy your Tuesday night, enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you all soon.